Today's the day Detective Garza will be put to death. I swapped the anesthetic for a paralytic beforehand, so Detective Garza would die in agony. The story begins on a night when I had a life people envied. I always believed law-abiding people would be protected by the law. When fate tore my faith apart, two thugs broke into my home for money. I tried to fight back, but my hands were tightly bound by the attackers. My wife heard the noise and rushed out, but she stood no chance against them. At that moment, the ringleader looked at my wife with different intentions and assaulted her. To stop her from fighting back, he stabbed a knife into her abdomen. All I could do was watch. My wife's cries gradually faded away. In that instant, my world completely collapsed. I screamed and yelled, but I was utterly powerless to stop the tragedy. I began to hate my own helplessness, but that was only the beginning of the horror. When the two attackers were arrested, I thought they would get the punishment they deserved, but the prosecutor told me to drop the case and said Detective Dunnigan would pin the crime on Detective Garza. Detective Garza would be sentenced to death, while Detective Dunnigan, the mastermind, would only get 3 years. I couldn't accept such an absurd outcome, but he said it was the best result. This is how the justice system works. I stared at the prosecutor in disbelief, and the last flicker of hope inside me died. I'll never forget the day. Detective Dunnigan walked out of the courthouse and faced the cameras with calm composure, like a victor. I stood on the nearby street, looking at them with hollow eyes. In that moment, I fully understood. Justice is just a bargaining chip, so I spent 10 years building a grave tailored for the whole judicial system. 10 years flew by, and today is the day Detective Garza is executed. The first step of my revenge, he will be injected with 3 drugs to make sure he dies without pain. But as the final syringe was pushed in, Detective Garza's body began to convulse, and he let out agonized screams. It wasn't that, the drugs failed. I had swapped the anesthetic for a paralytic. It would make Detective Garza die painfully. When they discovered what happened, the bottle still bore Detective Dunnigan's favorite line, "You cannot fight fate." After Detective Garza died, I began my campaign of revenge against Detective Dunnigan. I first posed as a mysterious stranger and told him the police were coming to arrest him. In the end, I put him into a police car that also held an unconscious officer. Under the guise of police transport, we drove to a farm. That's when I took off my wig, and he recognized me. Detective Dunnigan tried to shoot me, but I'd already covered the gun's handle with spikes, and the spikes were coated with poison. I strapped Detective Dunnigan to the operating table and injected him with a dose of adrenaline, all to make sure he would not die easily during the pain to come. By the time the police found Detective Dunnigan's body, I was already gone.